So a real line has been drawn in the sand. Today we're diving deep into Australia's pretty radical, world-first ban on social media for kids. And we're going to ask a really important question. Is this actually about protection, or is it a sign of a way bigger problem?
Yeah, think about that for a second. This quote really it gets to the absolute heart of the matter. See, it's not just about what our kids are seeing online, it's about who gets access to them. And that one idea right there is driving this massive shift in how we're all thinking about social media and safety.
Okay, so let's talk about the teenage experience with social media. On one hand, you've got this incredible universe of connection, of knowledge, right at your fingertips. But on the other hand, it's just this source of relentless pressure and anxiety. For millions of teens, it's become the ultimate two-faced friend.
I mean, think about it. 1 minute, you're scrolling, laughing at a cute dog video, and the very next minute, bam, you're in a total spiral of comparison, completely convinced that someone else has a better body, a better vacation, a better life. For teenagers, that kind of digital whiplash isn't just a once-in-a-while thing, it's a constant, daily reality.
And look, this goes way beyond just feeling bad. We are talking about a constant barrage here. The endless chase for likes, the gut-wrenching fear of negative comments, the very real threat of cyberbullying. It's a total mental health minefield, and it can affect everything from sleep and focus to, tragically, even the will to live.
So, in response to this pretty massive and growing crisis, Australia has decided to take a really drastic step. They've become the first country in the entire world to legally ban social media for any child under the age of 16.
Okay, so how does this actually work? Well, starting December 10th, this law is incredibly sweeping. It covers all the big platforms you can think of, and it puts the burden of proof, the responsibility, squarely on them. The message from the government is crystal clear. You either verify your users are over 16 or you face these absolutely staggering fines. We're talking up to 50 million Australian dollars.
And the government's stated goal here is pretty simple, really. It's about building a shield. It's about protecting kids from all the documented dangers we know exist on these platforms. Everything from harmful content to online predators.
But, and this is the big but, this raises the central question, right? Is this a necessary shield, or is it dangerous government overreach? And let me tell you, this debate has split everyone, parents, experts, the public, right down the middle.
So, on one side, you have the supporters, including the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese. They're framing this as just common sense regulation. They see it as basically no different from the rules we already have to keep kids away from alcohol or smoking or getting behind the wheel of a car before they're ready. But then, on the other side, you have the critics, and they see this as a really drastic, almost authoritarian move. They're arguing that it infringes on personal rights and, get this, could actually be more dangerous. Why? Because it could push all those teen conversations into unmonitored, kind of underground apps where there's zero oversight.
Okay, but let's talk about the elephant in the room here. How do you even enforce this? That's the core practical problem. The law says the platforms are responsible for checking a user's age, but it doesn't really say how. And the methods we have now, a lot of them are just a simple checkbox that anyone can bypass. So it raises a huge question, is this a real, effective block, or is it more about just sending a message? All right, so the debate over the ban itself is one thing, but now we get to a really crucial part of the story. What if the companies right at the center of this whole controversy actually knew about the harm their products were causing all along? Because, leaked internal documents have revealed a pretty shocking truth. Companies like Meta, they weren't just unaware of the damage. No, they were actively studying it. Their very own research confirmed the harm, especially for teen girls. But instead of acting on it, what did they do? They hid the results. For years. 32%. Just let that number sink in for a minute. According to Meta's own research from 2020, nearly a third of teen girls said that Instagram actively made them feel worse about their bodies. This wasn't some outside group making an accusation. This was their own internal finding. And if you thought that was shocking, get a load of this. 16. That's the number of strikes an account needed for reported involvement in sex trafficking before Meta would even consider disabling it. A former head of safety at the company literally called the policy stunning, and not in a good way. So why all the inaction? Well, it pretty much boils down to money. 1.5 million. That's how many annual teen users Meta's own growth team estimated they would lose if they made teen accounts private by default. and that seems to be a key reason why they delayed that absolutely crucial safety feature for years. And here's something that's absolutely crucial to understand. These are not just random accusations, okay? These are allegations built on sworn depositions, on internal company emails, and on the company's own research. All of this has been brought to light in actual legal proceedings. This is evidence coming from the inside.
So, all of this brings us right back to that central dilemma, doesn't it? Knowing what we now know, that companies have, at times, clearly prioritized profits over safety, is a government-enforced ban the only real answer we have?
At the end of the day, this whole debate really boils down to two competing ideas, two core philosophies. On one side, do we treat social media like a controlled substance, like alcohol, with a hard age gate? Or, on the other side, do we see it as a complex tool that kids are going to encounter no matter what, which means they absolutely have to be trained to navigate it safely?
And that's exactly why so many experts are arguing that the focus shouldn't just be on taking the phone away. Instead, it should be on building resilience. It's about teaching critical digital skills, right? Kind of like how we teach kids about good touch, bad touch, or looking both ways before crossing the street in the physical world.
So where does that leave us? As this technology gets more and more woven into the fabric of our lives, we as a society are facing a critical choice, and there are no easy answers here. Australia's ban has certainly drawn a line in the sand, but honestly, the global conversation is just getting started. So the question is, what do you think? Ban, regulate, or educate? What's the right path forward?